How's it going today? Yeah, this is going to be kind of a two-parter. I'm going to do this sooner than I was going to. Like I say, I was going to talk about the barn and stuff, and this is the milk house here. I was actually going to do this in a later part, but right now I'm working on something else in here, so I thought I'd combine the two into one. Yesterday we got I got a phone call or a text message from the milk inspector. Wanted to know if it's all right if he came here Thursday to inspect. Well, that's fine by me. I was kind of surprised by it. I wasn't really due for inspection till next month. So the milk company inspects us every 6 months. And I have been getting hit in March and September. I think they've gotten a lot backed up here, a lot more farms in March, and he's trying to space them out here some. But yeah, the milk company inspects us twice a year, and then every other year we get inspected by the state, which is to they basically evaluate the whole truckload of milk, and they take the farms that are on that truckload of milk, and then they go to several random farms, and on that test the whole route has got to score a 91 or above to be able to go into a grade A market. And I just got hit with that last year. Now, like I say, this is a random. For some reason, the last 3 times we got hit by that test, I got hit by it. But like I say, for some reason, the text message just said was, I'm planning on coming Thursday to inspect, if that's all right, if you don't have a problem because of the virus. Well, I texted him back and I says, I don't have a problem if you don't have a problem. I'm a dairy farmer, not a sheep farmer. So I don't know if he's going to be ticked about that or not. I jab him all the time. The guy's a pretty decent guy. But like I say, normally they don't give you a heads up. So since he did, I'm working right now just cleaning the walls up some. Now, this area here is what I've already did. I mean, I ain't getting too carried away in here. I'm just getting the heaviest areas. And it's mainly along the walls where you get the most problem. Like here underneath the wash vat. I gotta get that all cleaned up. And it probably ain't gonna show up much in here, but you can see them black spots. There's a good spot that shows it. That's one problem with the milk house, is it gets pretty humid in here. I mean, I'm running 170, almost 180 degree water in the hot water tank. And you need temperatures that hot to be able to clean the bulk tank and the pipelines. So like I say, drawing that much water, especially this time of year, I mean, steam is just flowing in here, and with all the moisture, I mean, it's just like a shower. And that's what a lot of this stuff is, mold, mildew. Now underneath there that's probably more algae down there. But like I say, it's just moisture environment, and you can't really keep it clean. And it's hard to clean it in here, because one problem is, when they built this, I don't think they used the right material. I mean, the regulations say you need an impervious covering on the wall and floor. So that means concrete, plastic, tile, stainless steel, stuff like that. You can't have bare wood. Well, the guy that I contracted to build the milk house, that's what he does, is build barns, milk houses. He installs free stalls, headlocks, he installed the milking parlor. He does that stuff. Well, this is what he brought me. If you can see that, that's pretty damn textured. And that is pretty damn hard to keep clean. I mean, it just holds on. Now, if he had used a smooth fiberglass type material, he could have just, more likely, just a garden hose would rinse this off. So I got, it ain't much. I mean, it just takes some heavy soap or an acid and give it a quick brushing. Get it wet, let it set for a little bit to soften up, brush it off, rinse it off, and it ain't too bad. I say I got to clean up the sinks here, scrub up the bulk tank here a little bit, make it look look better. Pipeline, I got to check a couple, like I say, a lot of areas. Don't check it all the time, but sometimes you'll pull this diverter valve apart. This just switches whether the milk comes in here or whether when it washes the system that the water, it shuts, the milk comes in 2 lines here because there's 2 lines out in the parlor, but when it washes it only goes through one way. So what this valve does, it shuts off down here. So when it draws the wash water up through this manifold, it goes through the pipe and then it comes back out the other line. So it only goes through the pipeline one way to wash. So like I say, sometimes you get a buildup in there. This is another common area. I've had problems with buildup in this. This is where the vacuum draws out and the gasket in there. Got to make sure that's clean. Stuff like that. I mean, I check a lot of this stuff on a regular basis, but knowing that he's coming, so you want to make it clean. And so just a minute here. Now, this is the other thing. This is a door. This is the door I haven't washed yet compared to a door that I have. And they're the same doors. And that's the thing too. I don't know if this is a different plastic or what, but it stains, and you can't get them stains off. Pressure washer would take a little more of that off, but I don't have it set up right now. For some reason, you're not allowed to keep a pressure washer even if it's disconnected in the milk house. I don't know, but oh, which paper is it? But this is, I ain't gonna show up so good because it's in this bag here, but this is the list of stuff they go through. Like toilet and water supply there. I don't have a toilet in the milk house, but that's the well, the septic system. Make sure, they're not connected where they're not supposed to be connected. Cleanliness of the walls, the floors in the parlor and stuff. Sanitation, what I'm using to sanitize with, how stuff is stored. Like I said, last time he was here, I got hit for cleanliness in, I don't know which is that in, because they do the milk house. Yeah, the milk house. I got cleanliness, floors and walls. And that's what I'm working on right now. Same way at the parlor, which is pretty much common. Usually, no matter how much you clean, it ain't good enough for them. So, and I mean, I should clean this up in here. It's a bigger mess than it normally is because I've been trying to clean in here a little bit. But same thing in these walls. Unless I take the pressure washer to them, they're not going to clean. That stuff dries on there. And I don't try to clean it much here in the winter because this becomes an ice skating rink if you spray too much water in here. So as I say, I've been cleaning off the pipeline up here too, clean that up. Trying to. Some of this came off, but not much. But like I said, that's what happened here now. I got all this. I still got to scrape this all off and hose this down. Like I say, it's just a work in progress at the moment. But as far as the walls and stuff in here, I'm not gonna put too much emphasis on cleaning them because it ain't gonna make that much of a difference. So, but that's just a little bit of what I'm working on, just to give him his little fuzzy feeling that he's doing his job. But like I said, but also decided, since I'm making this, I'll talk about this milk house. It's a 20 by 20 with a 10 by 20 utility room and a 10 by 20 milk house. And I built it inside this building, mainly to save money. I figured that's a good place to put it. It's close to everything. I don't have to side it. I don't have to buy trusses and put a roof on it. It's inside, it's covered. But if I was to do over again, I wouldn't do it here. I would have done it completely different. This would have been a separate building outside on the end of the barn. And what I would do is, this would be actually reversed. This would be the outside wall here. This would be a milk house. The utility room would be on this side. And then this would be turned 90 degrees, where this door would be where that window's at. And then, or wherever, be situated where the inner wall of the milk house would be set up where the pipeline would just go straight into the milk house. And the receiver jar would be on the back side of this wall. And then this door here would be somewhere along that wall or whatever. This would be the entrance door into the milk house instead of that one. That one would be placed wherever into that wall to go into the utility room. And the bulk tank would be not bulkheaded through that wall to the outside. It would be bulkheaded through that wall into the utility room. Instead of having a bulk tank compressor up on the ceiling, which I thought was a good idea, because nowhere I set it out there would have good airflow, and it's susceptible to damage. I mean, I probably could have put it in his back room, but then again, it's not ventilated very well there either. But I would have had it in next to the tank. I would have been able to vent it through the outside wall to the outside. The vacuum pump would be on the opposite side, and I could vent that directly to the outside, because right now it comes through the ceiling, then the exhaust pipe comes to this corner, down this wall to the outside, and it's still loud in here. So it'd make it a hell of a lot quieter in here. And like I said, the reason I would bulkhead that tank through this wall instead of that wall, I've talked about it before in other videos, but like I say, I put this in 2007. The milk inspector at the time approved all this, and I don't know if I ever got hit by the state inspection before 6 years ago, but I found out at that time that this bulk tank particularly should not be bulkheaded through a wall to the outside, because on the back end of the tank I have an opening like that too. This is just a vent, and this is where I fill the tank at. There's a rubber cap like this, but that size on the back side. So depending how you set up the tank, you could put this on the back side, fill from the back side or here, and just move them caps back and forth. I find out that because that has that hole on that back side, it's not supposed to be bulkheaded to the outside of the milk house. He did say it would have been all right if it was bulkheaded. If I had turned it that way into the utility room, it would be acceptable. Well, what are you going to do now after all this time? Because, it's been sitting here. Basically, I'd have to move the tank clear in here, big process. Ideally, he said, really should have somebody come in and weld a cap on it, but then you're not going to have a smooth edge, and it'd be susceptible to buildups in there and bacteria. So and the state guy agreed and said, best option is that cap is on the back side, but we took a hose clamp and clamped it on, so nothing can knock it off. And with that, he's acceptable with it. Now, this guy retired. Next year, if I get hit, because we're due for that inspection next year, if I'm still milking cows, whether that inspector's going to be that way or not, who knows? Now, there is no problem with bulkheading a tank through the wall or having this tank sitting outside, because a lot of larger farms do. They'll only have, they'll even have the agitator outside. A lot of these farms, they only have this much of the tank inside the milk house. They wouldn't even have this in here. Well, that's the thing. It is a completely sealed tank. So that's why they're acceptable to be out. That's the only reason why this one's not supposed to be. I don't see what the problem is, because it's still in this building, undercover. It's not exposed to the weather. So I would think it'd be all right, but like I say, each inspector's different how they interpret the rules. So, there's one other thing I was going to say. But yeah, that's what I'm working on here now. It'll take me another 15-20 minutes. I got to mix up another bucket of soap and get this. I'll probably have to take acid and stainless steel to shine it up, but get that door cleaned up. Like I say, it's just mold and mildew, and you would think it would hose right off. I mean, I've even tried spraying these walls down with a mister with bleach or something in it, and it really doesn't make a difference. Like I say, best thing you can do, and that's the reason I give up on it sometimes. I know it looks like hell, but it gets discouraging when you do something and a week later it ain't much better than what it was, and then like I say, you just get accustomed to things. But yeah, that's what I would do. And then what that would do, if I didn't have this milk house here, I could have 2 10 by 20 pens to put calves in, or cows to calve, or if I need to separate somebody out. And if I really wanted to, I could cut them in half and have 4 10 by 10 pens right here. Like I said, if I had to do over, that's what I would have done again. I mean, this does work out here. This is what originally started. You know, I had this penned off so they could run loose in here, but then you get 3 cows in here running loose, and it's just a big mess. You know, they're tied here. They have some freedoms. You know, it needs cleaned out again, but so like I said, I mean, I think that's just a little breakdown of what I did here, why I did it, what I'm going to change, would have changed on it. I say next part in here, I'll tell about the pipeline and the bulk tank and stuff, how I acquired them. I'll probably all the milk I'm going to throw to stalls in a video of that. And I was going to make that, and if that'll be the next one, or building, and say when I get a chance, and just try to put one together. But I guess that's about it. I don't remember what this cost me, because like I say, this had one guy do the plumbing and electric, and I don't even remember what the hell that was, and the guy that did all the concrete work and the headlocks and all the paneling out here, the gates and that stuff. He's the one that built the milk house, and that was all one package deal, so I don't quite remember. What I want to remember is everything with the headlocks, the concrete work, these gate panels here, milk house, installing the parlor. I believe was around $30,000. It sounds high to me right now, but that's the number I got in my head. And then, like I said, the guy that did the electrical work and the plumbing work was a separate guy. And then, but I guess this has rambled on here long enough. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.